Hi guys, it's been a really long time since I've made a tutorial, and not so recently but quite recently, Java's come from Java Sun over to Java Oracle, so their website's changed a little bit. It's had a bit of a different structure to it, and also no one's really using Windows XP anymore. There's still quite a few people, and I still prefer Windows XP over Windows 7, but just because of compatibility and the fact that I have a 64-bit machine, I've gone over to Windows 7. And there's a few little features that I like about Windows 7 that make things a little bit more easier, so I'm moving on. Alright, so this tutorial's aimed at people that are using Windows 7. My machine's 64-bit, so if you've got a 64-bit machine, this tutorial is going to work out nicely for you. If you don't, if you have a 32-bit machine, then I'll explain all those variations so that you're not you're not at a disadvantage. If you have no idea what 32-bit and 64-bit is, you can hold down the Windows key, hold it down, and then push pause/break, which is up in the right hand corner of your keyboard, about 3 buttons to the right of F12, just above page up and numlock. And when you push that, you'll get the system's property box, which will pop up, and that will tell you where am I looking? Here we go. System type, 64-bit operating system. Yours will either say 32-bit or 64-bit, and another identifier for that is either X64, which refers to 64-bit machines, or X86, which refers to the previous versions, which would include 32-bit. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's download Java Development Kit. Java Development Kit is the application used to develop Java programs, obviously, and it's a kit because it includes quite a few tools. The main tool we want is Java C, which stands for Java Compiler, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to download, install and set up Java C so that you can use it in the command line, which is a utility tool which is just text, and you don't really have like a button sort of pushing interface like most browsers and other applications do. So I've uninstalled JRE and JDK, so I don't have Java and I don't have Java C, so you can see from the beginning to the point of actually completing this tutorial how to get Java C and Java working completely without me skipping any little steps that most people do in tutorials, which I find really annoying, especially when you have a problem or some sort of issue with your system and you're trying to solve it, but they just skip that whole part, so you can't even get a perspective of what it should be like if your system weren't screwing up, and that's just a pain in the ass for me. So we've got Java, and if I type -help or /help, it will give me the help feedback out print for that, and it should just like print out a load of text down the screen saying a load of commands. But as you can see, Java is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program or batch file, so we don't have it, in other words. And if we type Java C -help, we get the exact same thing. After installing JRE, you'll be able to use Java. However, after installing JDK, you can't use Java C, not in the command line at least. So you have to set up that system variable, which I'll also show you how to do. Alright, so if we go to Google and type in JDK download, with Google Chrome you can just type it straight in the little omni bar, or whatever they call it. We want the first link, which takes us straight to their website, and as you can see we've got Java Platform Standard Edition, and then you've got kit bundles and various other resources which are not really required for us, so we're just looking at this box here. Right, so you've got JRE, which stands for Java Runtime Environment, and JDK, which stands for the Java Development Kit. We're just going to want to download the Development Kit, which also includes JRE, which it says here pretty much anyway. Okay, so it wants us to accept the license, which we'll just go ahead and do by ticking the little radio button. And down here is where you have Windows. Obviously I'm running Windows, but up here you've got Linux and Solaris. So my system that I'm using is Windows. If you're using something else, obviously download that. If you are using something else, I don't recommend that you follow this tutorial, because obviously this is directed towards Windows, so try and find a Linux orientated tutorial for installing Java. If you guys really want that, then I could possibly do that for you. Okay, so we've got x86, which is the 32-bit. So if you're running a 32-bit machine, as I showed here, so if that says 32-bit here, then you're going to want to download this one. If yours is a 64-bit machine, then you're going to want to download this one. Ignore the center one. That's for Intel Itium. How the hell do you pronounce that? Itium? Some sort of Intel processor. Ignore that one. Unless your system actually requires it. You can Google that to work out. Okay, so as you can see, I'm getting a little bracket 1, which tells me that I've already downloaded it. As you can see, it's down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start that. Yes. Next. Next. And we're away. Okay, so while this sits here and extracts all the information for the installer, I'm going to pause the video and come back once this process is finished. Okay, it's just finished extracting, and it's now asking me where do I want to install it. I'm just going to install it into the default place, which is in Program Files, Java, JRE 6. If we go into Program Files, you'll see that I have a Program Files folder and a Program Files x86. And if you can remember a few seconds ago, I said that x86 is for the 32-bit operating system. So all these applications in here are all 32-bit. Whilst these applications in here are 64-bit, and because I've downloaded the 64-bit installer, it's asking to be installed into the 64-bit folder, which is just Program Files by default. So I'm going to click Next and wait for this to finish, and okay, it's done. Right, so we now have Java, but in one of the comments on my previous video said that they've installed Java, but they can't actually see it in the program files because it doesn't actually show up. But as you can see, if you type in Java, it comes up with java.exe. But if you run this, it just pops up on the screen and flashes away. Because what that's doing is essentially this. It's popping up on the screen, showing the help output, and then Xing, because there's nothing telling it to wait for user input. Because that java.exe application is a command line program which you use via the command line. So as you can see, java-help now works and prints out all those help commands. But what about Java C, which we also installed? We still get the exact same thing. So to fix that, we need to add a system property. So if we come down to Computer and click Properties, which gives you the system box, or if you remember a few minutes ago, Windows key and /break gives you the exact same thing. And then we want to click here, Advanced System Settings, and then we get the system properties box. And at the bottom we have environmental variables. Okay, so in this box we want to find path, and we also want to add a new variable. So there's our path. So we want to add a new variable which we're going to call Java_home. Exactly the same as it was before. And if you remember rightly, if you have watched the other video, we need to go into C drive, Program Files. Because I installed the 64-bit, I'm going into the 64-bit folder, down to Java, and then I'm looking at Java Development Kit, not JRE, because this is the development. Remember, Java C is for development. Okay, so, and there's our path directory to the Java Development Kit folder. This will change as you update the Java Development Kit, if you update Java Development Kit. Okay, so when you do update it, you will need to modify the path for Java home. Okay, so we've got our path, and we click OK, and then on path, the main path, we want to click Edit, copy out the variable value, open up Notepad so we can see it. Right, and we've got a load of stuff here, but as you can see, each part, each section is separated by these little semicolons. And we just want to add another one right to the end, so we're going to go semicolon, percentage sign, which shows an environmental variable, Java_home, and another percentage sign that needs to be in capitals, because if you remember rightly, when we made it, we called it Java home in block capitals. And then we want to have a backslash, because we want to access the bin folder, which is where the Java C program is, and all the other programs which we'll be able to access once we add this environmental variable, such as Java W, which is for Windows. Okay, so we have our variable. No, wait, it's here. Okay, so we can add this on at the end. So if we just push the right arrow key, we'll get to the end of this, and then click Control and C to copy, or you can right click and click copy, and then Control and V to paste, or you can right click and click paste. And once we've done that, we click OK, and then we click OK again and again. We don't need the notepad anymore, so we can get rid of that. We don't need this Explorer, so we can get rid of that, and we don't need System, so we can get rid of that. And we can also get rid of this CMD because the system variables have been updated and it won't be applied to that CMD window, so we need to open up a new one. And now we type Java C -help, and we get all that output of commands. And that's essentially all you've got to do to install Java. In following tutorials I'll show you some more videos of what you can do with Java and show you how to use it. But as you can see, Java obviously works because we were able to communicate with the program, both Java and Java C. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope this helped. Leave feedback about videos that you'd like me to cover, sort of what topics in future tutorials. Thank you.